How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today we're looking at one of the top 10 cryptos that looks like it could actually 100x, according to an analyst here on YouTube, one of the top analysts, one of the people that I like watching to the most, and he actually goes through the numbers of how this is possible. Now, it's not Bitcoin, so just stay with me to the end of this because we're going to cover some of the top news and then cover how this crypto could make you very, very wealthy over time. If you guys don't mind hitting the like button and subscribe button, I appreciate that. Now, I talk about a couple different companies here on the channel that can really help you out, and I really think you should take a look at Choice. If you haven't already signed up with Choice, they allow you to invest in crypto in your retirement accounts. So many people don't consider the taxes, but this is good for two reasons. First of all, if you have a significant amount in crypto or you're trying to get a significant amount in crypto and then it really does do what you think it's going to do, it goes up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x, you're going to owe a significant amount in taxes. So first of all, it saves you money when you actually want to start withdrawing. Second of all, if you want to trim down positions, you always have to consider the tax implications if you're not in a retirement account. So when you trade in this retirement account, you can trim. Let's say we get up and we exponentially explode, and then you think, okay, this is a little bit too euphoric. You can trim some of your position and not have to worry about the tax consequences. So check out this link underneath the video. There you get $50 for free when you fund your account. So I really appreciate that. I really think you should take a look at it. Now, we just got this news. We want to create a regulatory environment in which healthy crypto innovation can continue. This is Janet Yellen. This is pretty interesting because usually she's quite bearish or pretty negative on crypto, but this is a really positive spin for her. So hopefully this continues. I know some of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt over the last year has been around the regulatory framework of crypto. So hopefully this clears, or this makes some people a little less worried about that. Now, we have gotten some news over the last day just to remind you that Russia will be accepting crypto from certain countries for their energy resources. I think this could be pretty interesting. If this actually is used by countries to pay Russia, there could be significant buying pressure on crypto. We also continuously have Luna buying more and more Bitcoin. So Luna Foundation bought about 3,000 more Bitcoin worth 128 million. This is just this morning. They did this yesterday or the day before, and they continue to add more. Lark Davis talks about how Terra has already bought and withdrawn about $800 million worth of Bitcoin. They've talked about how they are going to buy about $10 billion worth with immediate plans to buy $3 billion worth. So they have that amount ready to buy. And then they have the plan on doing another $7 billion after that. So $9.2 billion to go. Now, the important thing is to remember that just because they're buying, let's say, $3 billion worth, they've already bought nearly $1 billion. They're going to buy another 2 more in the immediate future. It doesn't mean the market cap is going to go up by $2 billion. That's not how that works. So usually what we noticed back when Tesla bought 1.5 billion, there's a multiplier. So when you buy a certain amount, it gets multiplied by around 20 to 25, and that's how much the market cap goes up. So if they buy $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, right, $2 billion worth, it could send up the market cap about $50 billion. So 2 billion times 25, 50 billion. Now, it might even move up more than that because a lot of people know that they're going to do this, so they might try to buy into Bitcoin as well. A lot of people are interested in Bitcoin anyway, so they think, okay, I don't want to buy after someone buys $10 billion worth or even a couple more $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. I'm going to buy now. So we see Bitcoin move up more significantly than we would if just Luna were to buy it. Now, what's interesting too is this is coming out from the BlackRock CEO. He said in a letter to shareholders that the ongoing war could force nations to reassess their currency dependencies, which could eventually make the way for a global digital payment network. Now, he specifically says a global digital payment system thoughtfully designed can enhance the settlement of international transactions while reducing the risk of money laundering and corruption. So again, another piece of fear, uncertainty, and doubt that, let's say, well, a lot of the government officials say that Bitcoin's used for money laundering and corruption, all that stuff. The CEO of the largest asset manager in the world is saying it does the opposite, actually prevents that. So if anyone is curious or is wondering if they really are used for money laundering, cryptocurrencies, then obviously they're going to look towards some of the biggest asset managers in the world, some of the most thoughtful people in the world, some of the smartest people in the world. And if they're saying, no, it reduces that risk, then they can't really put up too much of a fight. So we have nation states possibly buying Bitcoin. We have some of the largest asset managers possibly buying Bitcoin. We also have some companies in crypto buying Bitcoin to back some of their own currencies and stable coins. It's an interesting time. There's a lot of buying pressure, and that's what I talked about yesterday, right? There's a lot of buying pressure on crypto right now. Now, one crypto that's really gotten my attention recently is Terra. So Terra is so interesting because of the way that UST and Terra work. If you want more UST, which is their stablecoin, then you have to burn more Terra, therefore decreasing the supply of Terra and then pushing up the price of Terra. So it's a really interesting cryptocurrency. Do Kwon is the one that founded it. He says that they're going to get $10 billion worth of reserves in Bitcoin for UST. So it was algorithmic. Now it's looking like a Bitcoin-backed stablecoin. Now what's interesting about this is a lot of people wonder why he would announce this, right? Because if you announce it, you're going to buy a truckload of Bitcoin, the price is going to go up. But I thought this was a pretty interesting point someone made on a comment on Twitter. If a billionaire is going to buy Bitcoin with alts like Luna, it could be smart to announce that ahead of time because Bitcoin pumps, but alts pump even more. So in relative terms, Bitcoin is cheaper after a buy announcement. And when we look at Luna, it's gone up significantly recently. And part of that is because they're talking about backing their stablecoin with Bitcoin. I think that's a significant thing in their ecosystem. And you can see just a month ago, it was in the $50 range. I bought some around there, and now it's up nearly 100%. So that's quite interesting. And it's a good point to be made. Other people might do that too, especially because a lot of time when one thing works well for a cryptocurrency, we automatically, like a month or two, maybe a couple months later, start to see other cryptocurrencies do something similar, like whether it's a tax transaction or a new burn, something like that. We oftentimes see other cryptos following suit. So if we see a lot of different cryptos start to use Bitcoin to back their stablecoins or their crypto, could be really interesting. Now, I think it's time to finally talk about Terra getting up to an $80,000 price target. Now, this might sound like hopium, but it's just math. So one of my favorite people to follow on YouTube is Invest Answers. I think he is a very smart. If you haven't already started watching his videos, he does a lot with modeling and seeing where prices can go over time based on certain assumptions. I try to do that too, but this guy is a genius. So I've already watched this video twice. I'll probably watch it more, but he basically goes through and talks about when you burn Luna to get a higher UST market cap, because now it's backed by Bitcoin. A lot of people will feel comfortable with it. Stablecoin will continue to grow over time and more people will use it to try to get out of the fiat world. When you do that, when you get more and more UST, the burn for Luna will continue to happen. And even keeping Luna at the same market cap that it is now, the price goes up. Makes sense, right? If more people convert Luna to UST, the price goes up because there's less Luna around. So he goes through a couple different examples. First of all, he talks about Luna at USDC's market cap. So if it gets up to $52 billion, just their stablecoin, remember, and the market cap of Luna stays the same, you could get up to a $252 or $251 Luna. But when you consider what if it goes up to Tether's market cap? Okay, well, it gets up to $81 billion. That's a pretty significant size, but no one really likes Tether anyways. It's just that it's been around for a long time. Then you get up to basically a $500 Luna, still same market cap that it is now. And then once you start looking at the math, right, as Luna goes down, obviously when it gets really small, the price grows exponentially, right? So as you cut off more and more or keep on burning more and more Luna to get more and more UST, eventually it becomes very, very scarce and it grows exponentially at the end in price. So what would it take for an $80,000 Luna? Well, you would need to get up to about a $347 billion market cap, which is really large now compared to what we're used to in stablecoin. But if you consider the whole crypto market cap worth maybe 10, 20, trillion. I think that is realistic, about $347 billion UST. So then Luna's price goes up to $80,000. It's a significant amount. Now, I'm not trying to spread hopium. This is what the model says. Of course, there are always some assumptions to take into account. They also talk about, hey, this is still with Luna's market cap at just 33 billion. It could go up from here, could go down from here. Anything could happen. But this is a significant price target. And they talk about how the Bitcoin collateralization would help this, basically making it 44% collateralized. And there's some assumptions into this too. They're talking about how with them buying about $10 to $15 billion worth of Bitcoin, Bitcoin's price goes up to $138,000. So there are a lot of assumptions, but I think this is pretty interesting to look at. And you have to realize that Luna, very similar to Bitcoin, it's just math, right? Unlike a lot of these other cryptocurrencies that have significant supplies or ever expanding supplies, I should say, these have set supplies. So it's easier to run different models on them and figure out where they could actually go. And we're not saying, or he's not saying, I'm not saying that Terra's going to go up to $80,000. It's just running a model and showing how it could hit there. And the assumptions that we take into account here aren't that crazy, really. So let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Let me know if you're bullish on Terra. Terra's been one that I've been adding to more than almost every other altcoin recently. I've been buying Bitcoin, been buying a little bit of Solana, but I've been buying Terra probably more significantly than my other altcoins over the last month or two. But let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Let me know if you like Terra. Let me know what cryptos you're watching, and let me know if you think we're going to break over this $45,500 resistance. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.